I'd like to welcome you especially to the DRN Academy, the special academy owned and managed by the Diaspora Recruitment Network. The whole essence is to equip entrepreneurs or people thinking to kickstart a business. You're probably working in a full paid job, you are in the civil service, you're hoping someday you're going to kickstart your business, or you're looking for a better job opportunity. What we do at the DRN Academy is to equip you with basic entrepreneurship principles that can enable you to create wealth or get employed. So today, I just want to share with you some basics about kickstarting the business. Oftentimes, people fail to understand that information is key to building a sustainable enterprise. I see young emerging entrepreneurs saying that I need money to kickstart my business. I need that. I need capital. It is true that money is the life, is the bloodline of the business. You need cash flow and the rest of it. Your effective management of fund is key. However, there are processes you need to follow if you want to build a sustainable, successful enterprise. Then I'm talking from 22 years of experience researching some of the most successful enterprises in the world, from Amazon, Facebook, and eBay, and the rest of them. And also looking at why businesses have failed, including some of the businesses I've set up in the past. Why some business fail within the first 2 years, some even within the first 6 months. Why some are still out there 100 years, they're still growing, waxing in strength, increasing in profitability. So we need to research as a people, as entrepreneurs, to see what's going on. Why is it that I'm not making profits? Why is this happening to me? Why other people are successful in the same field of endeavor? So this is one thing we've come to realize. There are 5 processes you need to take if you want to build a successful and sustainable enterprise. They are essential for you to succeed. Last week, we did look about what we call the design-driven entrepreneurship. In recent time, we've started talking about design-driven decision-making process, where your decision must be data-driven. And that is the whole concept of data analytics, big machine learning, and artificial intelligence. They are driven by data. For you to successfully build an enterprise in this new ecosystem, driven by cultural shift on a microsecond space and also technological advancement, you've got to ensure that is your data is something that is fresh and something that can be transferable to strategic information. So you want to be sure that your data is updated. That is the whole keyword. That is what I was trying to look for. Your data must be updated on a microsecond basis. Today, the process I want to share with us is what I call the 5S framework for both emerging and established entrepreneurs. I'm sure this is going to help you. I also want to make an announcement before I go further. Come this Thursday, we have to postpone the data-driven and the design-driven entrepreneurship talk, and it's going to take place now on Thursday, this very Thursday, and by 7 p.m. GMT, and that should be 8 o'clock West African time. So 7 p.m. GMT, we're going to be having the data-driven entrepreneurship class on Thursday. So I want you to look up to this channel. And if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe so that you have access to the discussion taking place as regard that design-driven entrepreneurship, which is the process of conducting design thinking to entrepreneurship practices. You've got to learn how to connect design thinking. What is design thinking? How do you blend your design thinking strategy to entrepreneurship practices? It's extremely important if you want to build successful and sustainable enterprise. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, 7 p.m. GMT on this YouTube channel. Talk to friends, invite someone, and make sure you share this link and ask your colleagues, friends, family members to subscribe to this channel. The whole essence of this channel is to provide you information, to equip you with strategy tips that can enable you to build successful and sustainable enterprise. Today, like I said, I'm going to be talking about the 5S framework, very important. And I want you to write this down. The first is solution development. The second is startup. The third is standardization. And then we'll talk about scaling. and then sustainability. You've got to go through this process without missing any one of them. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to repeat each of them. The first is solution development. Then the second is what? Starting up startups. Then the third is standardization. The fourth is scaling up, and the fifth is to sustainability. We've seen people jump this phase and end up in trouble. I'm a classic example of that. I've jumped the phase of solution development where I just assume this is a solution the market needs. And your passion is good. Having a desire to do something is extremely important, and that is where the design thinking entrepreneurship process comes in helping you get to the point where you are able to develop solution that the market needs. We call this the market lovable product. It's also we call it the MVP, market lovable product, or market valuable product for MVP, or market lovable product for MLP. It's different from what we call the minimal valuable product. No, minimal valuable product is that product that is good enough to introduce to the market. It's like a prototype. However, the market lovable product is that product that will be accepted by the paying customer. Someone loves it's solving someone's problem, and then someone is willing to pay for it. And until your product attract the paying customer, you are not really in business. So we've got to start with the first S, which is solution development. In developing your solution, you've got to learn to understand the pain points of the market. What and do you understand the need of the market, the primary need, secondary need, and tertiary need? That will be looking on Thursday into what that means. And it just don't assume that people want this. We've seen government, even agencies globally, the United Nations and European Unions, the rest of it, have been failing in this area, not being able to develop the right solution for the right given market. They just assume this is the need of the people. So you've got to research the need of the people through design thinking process. And we have a design thinking process, and we have the system thinking process. This is not system thinking process now. It is design thinking process where you carry out research, empathy. You're able to put yourself in the shoes of the people, ask questions, and then develop prototype and test the prototype before developing the solution, a market lovable product, and that you can also refer in this case as the minimal valuable product. I want to encourage you to ensure that you got the first S right. If not, every other thing you're going to be doing will be building on you're building skyscraper in the air with the faulty foundation. Solution driven and solution development is extremely important. Is extremely important. That is why I want you to talk to your friends to ensure that you attend the Thursday section that talks about design driven entrepreneurship. So the first S is solution development. That is well thought out. That is based on data driven decision making process. You've carried out research, you've considered the demography, you've considered the psychography, the bias of the people, how the people want to be served, how the people want the solution provided. These are all part of the solution development process. You have not kickstarted a business. This is a pre-startup process. So startup is not the first thing. You've got to carry out the solution development process. It is key. That's the first S. Don't just jump into starting a venture, putting so much money into a business that you have not actually tested. In my mother's village in Africa, we say that you don't test the ocean, an unknown river, with 2 foot. And you've got to test it first. You put your first foot out there to see if the water is deep enough. And that is what you also do in business. You don't just jump into business with all your resources. You're going to get burnt. So you've got to carry take some time. Make sure that you carry out a good solution development process and build on design thinking process and also data driven decision making framework. These are all important. For those of you that may be interested in knowing what a data design driven framework is, you feel free to call us on 0758 668 I'll be glad to introduce to you the framework, because the data driven decision making process is key to making a decision as an entrepreneur or professional. Your decision making process must be data driven, or else you're going to be in trouble. So if you want us to come to your organization, train your staffs, or probably your governmental agency on data decision driven process framework, we'll be glad to do that. because it's key to developing the right solution for the right people, so that your policies are not just built on assumption, but they are built on concrete data. That's what the first phase is, the solution development based on data-driven decision-making framework, and also the design-driven and entrepreneurship process. Now, the next S you want to consider is what we call the starting up. Now, once you've gotten all you need from the first process, which is the solution development process, it's now time to launch your business. So, but I always encourage people to launch on a small scale. You test the market, you launch a product, you test the market, you get feedback, and you can reframe or reform or re-strategize on what to do. So the next thing is to kickstart the business on a smaller scale. See how the business respond to your project, and then you can tell what you want to do. Once you have done the startup, you get feedback from the market. Because you've done that, it is not time to scale up. We've seen people open up a business, and as soon as they start making some money, they want to open offices everywhere. That is a dangerous step to take. I have had a very profound experience in that, where I did kickstart a business, and the early stage we were making a lot of money. What we decided to do was to open 6 different branches at a point in time, without having the third phase being put in place. And what happened is that we ended up losing everything because we lacked the capacity to sustain that scale up. So what you need to do after starting your business is to do standardization. So we have the solution driven techniques, we have the startup, and then the third phase is standardization. You've got to learn to standardize your process. Once your business is well standardized, you can easily scale up. You can repeat it over and over again. So I've seen even educational institutions that are not yet standardized. You look at the area of studies, they're changing things every day. And framework is essential. It's like the human body. The bone is the same number of bone cells, connectivities, and the veins and the rest. Some of us are big, some are small, some are tiny. But the fact is that the framework, the bone, is the same. So you've got to develop a system and structure that enables you to deploy strategy. You can innovate, but in order to innovate, you've got to have a standard operating procedure in place. Standardize your business in a way that someone can come in, a new CEO, a new chief operating officer can come in and kickstart immediately and just start running the business, because the business is standardized. And for instance, you have a coffee of a particular restaurant. You go anywhere in the world, the coffee tastes the same because it has been standardized. The process has been standardized. The source of resources and payment system, administration, communication chains, and command of administration command, everything have been standardized. So standardization is key before scaling up. So once you have gone through the first foundation, which is solution development, and then you've kickstart your business startup, you've got to standardize your operation. Don't be in a hurry to scale without good standardization in place. So go to the third stage of standardization. Once you've done that, the frameworks are well tested, you've tested the market, you have the capacity to rebound in when there are issues, and the forces, the marketing forces, the pastel, and the forces out there, you have put in mechanism that can respond to unforeseen situation. These are all part of standardization. You have your research and development department in place. You have the first people that have the capacity to foresight the future, to have a foresight and understanding of the future of the market. These are all part of standardization. So I want to encourage you, from human resources to sourcing of material to marketing, they are well standardized. We've seen look at educational institutions like Harvard, Yale, Stanford. These are educational systems that are well standardized. And we've seen companies that are well standardized, that they can go into Facebook, for instance, is well standardized. That is why you can buy a company and introduce the culture of Facebook, of Meta, into that company, because there's a corporate culture that has been proven. We've seen that in Amazon, we've seen that in Samsung, in Apple. These are companies that have attained standardization. and so they can purchase an enterprise and introduce their culture to the enterprise. And we see Tesla achieving standardization very fast. So with some companies can kickstart, grow very fast, and run into scaling up without standardization, and before you know it draws back to zero. So standardization is important before scaling up. Once you have succeeded in developing and having a solid standardization framework in place, it is time to scale. You cannot begin to scale by repeating the same process through franchise, through any scaling up strategies you want to adopt. You cannot afford to scale because once the product is standard, it is easy to scale. So you can undergo scaling, and which is about expanding your revenue. Develop there are different expansion strategy. You might think of buying a new company, you might think of going expanding to new territories and the rest of it, or introducing new products, new services, or just um, opening new shops everywhere. You can that, but the good thing is that you have attained standardization before scaling up, so you can tell your strength. There's a good solid foundation in your business. Once you have attained, you're choosing to scale, then you can begin to put in. And once you scale, that's when you move to the fifth process, which is sustainability. So sustainability drives from the solution development to startups, scaling, and standardization. That is when you can attain. So sustainability is a successful and application or implementation of the forward process that enables you to sustain a venture through creativity and innovation. Sustainability is a product of creativity, innovation, and having the right team, working with the right team. So I truly want to encourage every single one of you here today to ensure that you have a solid process in place. Don't just, it is extremely important that the 5S process framework is followed. Now, I'd like to repeat it as I close this short section, which is solution development, startup, standardization, scaling, and sustainability. You follow through this process, you can build a successful and sustainable to help us build successful enterprise. I want to thank you for being part of today's broadcast, and I want to encourage you to be part of the training taking place. It's free. The training we're having on Thursday is free. It's part of our free training, and it's going to be starting from 7 p.m. GMT. That would be okay. I'm thinking of something. I think we might have to change the time. We might have to change the time. So on Thursday, this Thursday, it's not going to be 7 p.m. GMT. I know some of you might just be in your office. We're going to do it this way. It's going to be 12:30 p.m. GMT. So it's going to be for 1 hour, 12:30 to 1:30 GMT. So it's going to be your lunch break. So it's going to be the lunch break hour during the day. So it's going to be 12 instead of 7 p.m. It's going to be. I'm going to ask them to change the time. It's going to be from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. GMT on Thursday, this Thursday. So you want to take advantage of that to learn the basics on design-driven entrepreneurship. This is going to be what more than £2,000 training, but this is our giveaway to as many of you out there that truly want to kickstart a business. Thank you for being part of this broadcast. I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and share it to be a blessing to your friends and colleagues and loved ones. My name is Oba Boniface Omozwapo. I'm the CEO of the Diaspora Recruitment Network and the principal lecturer at the Diaspora Recruitment Network Academy. Do have a great day and stay blessed. If you think of calling us, feel free to call us on 0758 So we meet again by God's grace on Thursday. Do have a great day and stay blessed. Bye.